Oh, good. You're here. It is Wednesday, May the 29th. Annette's here. Steve's here. Here's what we're working on this morning. Speed cameras in Smithville have been vandalized once again. We'll check in with Simone Gavros.
Hamilton police are asking for help in finding a missing 75-year-old man.
And the world's largest Banksy exhibit has made its way to Toronto. Hello, Annette.
Hi.
Look who it is.
I know it's Steve Ruddick filling in for Brian Wood, who's on vacation this week. Steve, you heard the thunderstorms last night.
That's right. I love thunderstorms.
I do too.
At night?
Yeah,
you get woken up?
Especially at night. But they don't usually last very long. But this one lasted like 2 or 3 hours off and on throughout the whole night.
What time?
So we had a good time. Got some pictures. A lot of you sent in some pictures. Appreciate that. Let's have a quick look at some of them.
Yeah,
these
the
are
clouds
kind of
were
interesting.
amazing.
Bud McMullen, this is from Peacock Point. Look at those clouds. David Groves from Grimsby sent another neat one down. And again, looks like right down from an apartment down towards the Hamilton area. So just a gorgeous shot. And Amanda Gissing in Binbrook just said this one. She said, couldn't believe it, that it was during the thunderstorm, the skies lit up pink and orange. So it was just gorgeous out there.
So was it just at sunset then that this was happening? Obviously, when the sun's going down?
Yeah, it was around that time because I went out a number of times because it got so dark so fast that I was like, whoa. So I kept looking outside, and and then the rain started, and then as a couple of hours later, as I went to bed, then the thunder really started.
Yeah, so it was an interesting night. Well, we love thunderstorms. That was a good one, but that's all moved by us now. All right, let's go and check on the roads just after 6 o'clock on your Wednesday. Let's see what's happening out there. We're seeing, again, no major problems. There's a little bit of shower activity in some areas going to the Garden City Skyway area. So in the Niagara area, slight chance of showers today, more likely in the Burlington, Oakville area towards Kitchener, Brantford, North Shore of Lake Erie. But in general terms, on the highways, we're looking in pretty good shape to start the day. Looking at the Burlington Skyway Bridge, roads are drying up quite nicely. Guelph Line, the QEW, up by the 4 plant, traffic is fairly light right now. So again, good start to the day, and we've got a bang up, if it all happens, long distance forecast for us. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Okay, good stuff, Steve. Let's head to Niagara, because speed cameras in Smithville have been vandalized once again after they were cut down back in April. Simone Gavros joins us live from Smithville with more on this. How many times have you been on this story? Like, is this the third time?
Tim, I think this is the second time that we've actually been here in Smithville covering this story, but it's happened a number of times, and you can see behind me just this camera just lying here on the ground. This is in front of John Calvin School here in Smithville, and you can see that this camera is just lying here in the grass, and you can see that it was cut clear just down the metal here with some kind of tool. It's unclear exactly, but clearly the wires are still intact here, but this was just cut down lying here when we got here. Now, we got an email about this last night around just before 9 o'clock, and just 5 minutes away from here at another school, Smithville Christian High, that's where another speed camera in the area was also seen cut down as well. So there are two in the area of West Lincoln. That's where these two are lying in here. Now, 3 cameras were already vandalized before, back in April, one in Lincoln and the other in 2 in West Lincoln, and the other one in Vineland was already hit a second time as well. That was cut down too. Now, this is still a developing story. We have reached out to Niagara Police as well as Niagara Region for more details, and we're going to be speaking to people in the area to get their reaction. This is happening not once but twice within a month and a half or so. But for now, I'll send things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much. Another developing story this morning. A 75-year-old man is missing in Hamilton. Hamilton police say Alan Peachy was last seen yesterday afternoon around 12:20 on King Forest Drive between Fennel and Mohawk. That's on the East Mountain. Peachy has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and family members are concerned for his well-being. He's white, 5'7", with a small build, gray hair and glasses. He was wearing a bright yellow sun hat with Terra greenhouses on it. He also had on a blue or gray coat, gray joggers, and brown boots. Anyone in the area is asked to check their property and be on the lookout.
The Hamilton Wentworth District School Board is looking at reducing education development charges for some affordable housing builds. So in municipalities like Hamilton, when someone builds, they have to pay local school boards a fee. Now, boards make millions of dollars from these charges, money they use to acquire land for new school sites. But affordable housing providers have a problem with the fact that it's a flat rate. Right now, the HWDSB's education development charge is just over $1,500 per residential unit. So with the current bylaw expiring on July 5th, the flat rate fee could increase to over $2,000. Hamilton Wentworth District School Board trustee Todd White says they could bring fees down for affordable units to between $200 to $500 and generate that income by charging other developers more.
There is risk. There's risk on how the ministry will react. There's risk on whether there could be a cost to the board.
Yeah, White says if the Hamilton Public School Board can create a successful model, it could potentially be replicated right across the province.
A new vineyard or a Niagara vineyard rather, is using new technology developed in Ontario to revolutionize part of the winemaking process. So instead of using chemicals to protect grapes from mildew, Vineland Estates Winery is using a combination of ozone and hydrogen peroxide activated by ultraviolet light. They say it doesn't leave residue and it gives off nothing more than water and oxygen. This new process was developed for food on conveyor belts, but it was adapted at a company in St. Catharines to make it portable on a large mechanized tractor. It's estimated this new technology could reduce the 3 to 5 million bottles of wine lost every year to grapes that are hit by mildew. Well, don't be alarmed if you hear what sounds like gunfire in the Stevensville area this morning. Niagara Regional Police Emergency Task Force Unit is going to be doing a training exercise from 10 this morning until 2:30 this afternoon. It's happening near West Main Street and Old Mill Road. Niagara police say people in the area should expect an increased police presence, as well as the sound of simulated gunfire and controlled explosions. There will be signs and police tape in the area, and people are asked to stay away. The Burlington Sports Hall of Fame welcomed 6 new members last night, including a father and son duo of former Olympians. Jim and Brady Reardon both competed in the K4 1,000-meter flatwater kayak row. Jim at the 1972 Munich Olympics and Brady at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Both have gone on to long careers in sports, with Jim coaching athletes to several gold medals. Other inductees include Mark Juris, the coach and GM of the Burlington Cougars, and John Tate, the former president of Burlington Rep Hockey.
It's Bubba O'Neill in the crowd there, who has also been inducted into the Burlington Sports Hall of Fame in the past. Quickly want to mention, too, Lisa Turbett and Peter Moore were the other 2 inductees to finish off those 6. All right, leads us right into Sportsline. If only the Blue Jays could play the Chicago White Sox every game. The Sox are off to the worst start in their history, have the worst record in baseball, and the Jays are taking advantage at a time they need it most.
He's doing some damage here, lifted to deep left, and it's off the base of the wall. 1 run is home, and here comes Kiermaier. The throw to the plate is not in time. It's a 2-run.
Yeah, David Schneider led the way last night in the second game of the 3-game series. He would have 3 hits to go along with 3 RBIs. He scored a run, too, as Toronto won a second straight game over the Sox, 7-2, in a game that had 2 rain delays and didn't end till late. There was like over an hour rain delay in the 9th, which is kind of frustrating. But the Jays have now won 4 or 5 meetings with the White Sox, and they go for the sweep tonight. Kevin Gausman pitched well in getting his 4th win of the season. Alek Manoah will try and keep it going in tonight's finale.
Played back up high. 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. Down low. Score!
We got ourselves a heck of a series on the ice between the Panthers and Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. Sam Reinhart would score the OT winner, beating the Rangers' Igor Shesterkin, who was fabulous, by the way, in the New York net, to lift Florida to the 3-2 win and now lock the series at 2 games apiece. 3rd straight game that has gone to overtime. And now things shift back to the Big Apple tomorrow night in Game 5.
Edwards, another screen, a 2, scores! Big time shot!
Yeah, Anthony Edwards would not let the Dallas Mavericks follow the Boston Celtics lead and sweep the West Final like they did in the East. He was a one-man wrecking crew, dropping 29 points following an assist short of a triple-double. He keeps his Timberwolves alive with the 105-100 win in Dallas. So Minnesota now heads home for Game 5 to try to make history, as no NBA team has ever come back from 3-0 down to win the series.
Really good free throw shooting team.
Nurse finds some space and hits another three. Kia Nurse's third three of the night.
WNBA, Hamilton's Kia Nurse stole the spotlight from star Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. Nurse would score 22 points, including 5 three-pointers, to avenge a loss to Clark and the Fever at home last weekend. Clark did have a season-high 30 points, but it came in a loss thanks to Nurse. And the Sparks 88-82 was the final in front of a sellout crowd of over 16,000 in Indiana.
Our Canadian women didn't strike gold for nothing. We will do more than fill this empty space. We are the Big Bang, the dawn, the birth of an era. We are Soccer AD, and from nothing will come everything.
Tidal wave of women's sports in this country continues. We now have a name for the new Canadian Women's Pro Soccer League. The Northern Super League will launch across the country next spring with 6 teams in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Halifax, and Calgary. Could be a 7th in there somehow too, I think, right? It will be a 25-game season followed by playoffs and a championship in the fall. Following the success of the PWHL, which hands out the Walter Cup tonight, and the announcement of the WNBA coming to Toronto in 2026. What an exciting time for women's sports.
Okay, and it's an exciting time for the next 6 or 7 days because it looks like after today we're going to get a fair amount of sun out there. 6:11, let's check and see what's happening on your highways right now. Things are moving along in good shape, not seeing any major problems. Let's go up by Pearson Airport. And again, the sun just up over the horizon now and peeking through the clouds and slowing things down just a little bit, although volume is a factor here, but not a whole lot, I don't think. 400 not reporting right now, down by the St. Catharines area, Garden City Skyway westbound. Traffic is still fairly light that way, much the same just down the road at Ontario Street and Burlington Skyway Bridge, moving along in good shape, eastbound coming towards us, so it's starting to build up just a little bit. And up by the Ford plant, we're looking in good shape indeed. So let's hope it stays that way for this Wednesday, getting closer to the first day of June coming up on Saturday. What's going on today? Well, here's what we've got on the go. That low pressure system that kind of gave us more or less 2 days of rain is now moved away for the most part. But there still is some remnants of it still in our area and moving through. So what can we see today? There's a good chance of some showers here and there, north shore of Lake Erie, up into the Brantford area, Waterloo, Kitchener area, and maybe even into the Burlington, Oakville area. Hamilton, Niagara should be just mostly cloudy conditions for today. At least that's how it's looking up. And then after that, we do see some fairly clear skies out there. Why is that? Well, first of all, the low pressure is moving away. High pressure is building in, but also coming with these clearer skies. We'll notice for the next couple of days, a little cooler air coming. That's these blue arrows coming down. We'll be 2 or 3 degrees below seasonal, but as we get into the weekend, things are going to change. Here's some temperatures outside right now, 11, 12, up to 15 degrees currently outside, so not a bad start to the day. Your almanac for today, sun was up at 5:44. We'll be down at 8:51 tonight. Normal high is about 21 degrees this time of year, and today we're looking for a high of 19, so a couple of degrees below seasonal, but light winds, a little bit of cloud, especially in the Hamilton area, but again, things will be clearing up and again, chance of some showers. But for tonight, the skies will be mostly clear. A little cool though, 6 degrees will be the expected temperature for tonight. And tomorrow, again, much the same, little on the cooler side, but still kind of nice with lots of sun. After that, things warm up, and we'll get into that when we look at the extended forecast in a few minutes. That's it for now.
We say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Hello.
Hello. Good morning. We talk Canadian actor Shay Mitchell. She's bringing us a new travel show, except instead of food, which we've seen so many of, she's bringing us cocktails and drinks. That should be interesting.
I don't think I know Shay Mitchell, so look forward to a chat.
Pretty Little Liars, I believe, she was in.
Okay.
And we're also going to be discussing the new inductees to the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame.
We have plenty of those in this country. Good songwriters. Good stuff. Okay, so we'll see you at the couch in a little bit.
I'll be there.
Coming up after the break, Canadian credit card bills. They're ballooning. We'll take a look at the issue in business news in 2. Oh, hey, here's some numbers for you. Canadian dollar is down 9 basis points this morning, sitting at 73.19 cents US. Gold down almost $12, 23.44.60 an ounce. Crude oil up 65 cents, 80.48 a barrel. Off to Europe we go on this Wednesday. Hey, Europe. Markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, the markets were down in Tokyo and Hong Kong, but up just a point in Shanghai. Checking North American markets, the TSX lost 108 points yesterday, the Dow dropped 217, and the Nasdaq gained almost 100.
Well, good morning. If you're just getting up on this Wednesday morning, let's get into some business news. And an increasing number of Canadians are seeing their credit card balances balloon. It's the cost of living crisis, higher interest rates, that is, eat into household budgets. So a TransUnion number and report says the number of Canadians paying only the minimum monthly amount in their credit card, it rose 8 basis points to 1.3% in the first quarter compared with last year. So the report found many household incomes are not keeping up with inflation and higher interest rates. It also found people who had significant increases in mortgage payments are more delinquent.
Canada's Privacy Commissioner warns that a Senate bill to block minors from sexually explicit material online could actually apply to streaming services like Netflix. Commissioner Philippe Dufresne says legislatures should dramatically narrow the bill's scope to address concerns about, quote, what will be captured. Proponents of the bill, though, argue its purpose is important enough that it should be passed quickly, with all the technical details to be sorted out through a regulatory process.
So the world may be pushing for electric vehicles, but Toyota says they plan to put a futuristic spin on the traditional internal combustion engine. The Japanese automaker announced it would offer lean, compact engines that can also run on so-called green fuels like hydrogen and bioethanol. Now, Toyota executives, they say different regions have different energy supplies and its products have to meet various customer needs around the globe. So they also point to the massive investments needed for mass producing battery EVs.
The union representing 28,000 Samsung Electronics workers has announced it's going to go on strike next week. This is believed to be the first such walkout at the South Korean tech giant. The Samsung Electronics union has asked workers to hold a one-day strike and to use their paid leave on June 7th. That's a week from Friday, because of failed negotiations over pay. The union says Samsung, quote, has no will to negotiate, but Samsung says they are committed to engaging in good faith negotiations. Last month, Samsung Electronics reported a more than 10-fold increase in first quarter operating profit amid forecasts of high demand for artificial intelligence and high-end computer chips.
T-Mobile is buying U.S. Cellular's wireless operations and some spectrum assets in a deal valued at $4.4 billion. T-Mobile will get U.S. Cellular's wireless operations. That's around 4 million new customers, along with about 30% of wireless spectrum's assets right across several Spectrum brands. Those are finite frequency cell phones just used to communicate. T-Mobile will also enter into a new master license agreement on more than 2,000 towers and extend the lease term for the approximately 600 towers where T-Mobile is already a tenant.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Steve is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast.
And welcome back to Morning Live at 6:23 on your Wednesday. Checking the traffic right now. Starting to see the sun peek through the clouds, and the cameras are switching around there. This is the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Again, fairly busy this morning, and I think that the sun is going to be a bit of a factor if you're driving into it, because if we go up by Pearson Airport here, we do see things really on the slow side, although traffic's not all that, there's not a huge amount of traffic out there. Down towards the Niagara area, looking at the Glendale area, still lots of cloud down towards St. Catharines in the Niagara Falls area. Ontario Street, though, looking in pretty good shape as we make the turn around the corner there. So Walker's line camera not really happy this morning, so we'll move away from that. And there's a better shot of it right there. As we move up to the Ford plant, traffic's moving along in good shape. So again, good start to the day. If you're heading out in the next little while, grab your sunglasses because the sun will peek through the clouds. And if you're heading eastbound, well, you'll see lots of it right in your windshield. So that's what we've got on the go right now. All right. Excuse me, let's have a look and see what's happening weather-wise for us. So a little cooler air ahead of high pressure, which is going to give us some sunny skies into the weekend and maybe even beyond that, except for Saturday night. Anyway, there's still the remnants of that system that gave us rain the last couple of days still in the area. So north shore of Lake Erie up towards, say, the Brantford area, also Kitchener-Waterloo, Burlington, Oakville. Still could see a little shower activity this morning before things finally clear up. Hamilton, Niagara look like they're going to be in good shape, but we've got a series of nice days ahead of us. But it's still going to be fairly cloudy, at least to start the day. Temperature's only up to 19 degrees today, a couple of degrees below seasonal, and much the same tomorrow. Your evening commute, we'll see mostly clear skies, maybe a tad more cloud in the Hamilton area, and the extended forecast looks like this. So after we get through this system that's moved by us slowly, clouds move away, temperatures start to warm up as we get into the weekend, but we've got a nice stretch. Saturday's June the 1st. Saturday night could see some showers, but other than that, over the next 6 days or so, if things stay in place, we are looking at some nice weather ahead of us. So that's the good news, and good for the golf tournament, that's for darn sure. That's it for now.
Yeah, Canadian Open coming up.
Starts tomorrow. That's the Pro-Am today at the Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Okay, before we get to 6:30, there's a company in the United States that has a new way for people to memorialize their loved ones by turning their remains into an aquatic reef.
Each time somebody decides to do this, we get to add another reef to the artificial reef programs of one of the states that we're working in. So far, we've put out more than 3,000 memorials in 7 states, and we're continuing to grow.
That's the CEO of a company called Eternal Reefs. So these reef balls are made of environmentally safe cast concrete. When it comes time to say goodbye, families add the cremated remains of their loved ones along with personal items and written messages. The CEO says the world's natural reefs are in trouble, and these artificial designs could help restore the ocean by creating a habitat for fish and protecting coastlines.
Okay, it's the whole thing. I thought it was just the top. Well, that whole thing is going in.
Yeah, that whole thing would go in.
I guess you would have to get approval to be able to just drop that into the water, I would think. Right?
I would think so, yes. Okay. That's a neat idea.
I think so, too. Okay, let's take a break. Steve's got a good little forecast, as you just saw right there. Lots going on in this Wednesday morning. We'll see you in a couple minutes.